Yay, okay. It looks like we are up and running. Hey, y'all. I see Benny out there. Ooh, we got like some buffering on the stream, I think. So we'll try and figure that out. I see Benny, I see Mandy, I see Hanya. How you doing? Um, Today, we are going to be really fingers crossed finishing up the Terraform project from last week. We have one last thing to do, which is troubleshoot. Hey, Alan, how's it going? Which is to troubleshoot this Unicode error that we're seeing, which I will share out with you in a little bit. But before we get into that, I want to talk about the second portion of the stream today, which is going to feature the gentleman down here, Josh O'Brien. Josh O'Brien is an awesome dude, an awesome chef friend. He's been in the community for a really long time. So I will stop butchering this introduction and actually let him introduce himself. Josh, can you tell everybody a little bit about your background at Chef and what you do now?
Yeah, absolutely. So currently, I am the product manager for Chef Infra at Chef. I have had a long journey to get here. I was initially brought on for sales, which I never actually did because we founded our customer success org on like my first day here, and I slid over into a spot over there as a technical account manager. Did that for a few years. Had a brief stint on our customer engineering team, and then went into a role of kind of, I suppose, a bit of an unofficial community management role for the customer success team, managing our success Slack that we have privately for our customer success customers. And then August of last year, I slid into the role of product management. So that's kind of the deal. Most of my hands-on experience with our toolkit is kind of the circa like 2015, 2016 is about when I kind of stopped doing a lot of hands-on stuff. So here to help as much as I can.
Nice.
I'll have plenty of gaps in my knowledge as well. But and I'm really excited about the stuff that we're doing in product right now. Working toward an ease of use story and a time to value story that I think Chef has historically not been as strong as some other folks in the market have been. So really looking forward to providing a much gentler on ramp for customers to get to know our stuff, and for users in the community to get to know our stuff. So
Yeah, nice. Yeah, there's we have an upcoming release of the Chef client package. Chef 16 is coming out soon, and sorry, Chef Infra Client 16 is coming out soon. And so we're really excited about a few things that are coming out in that. And if you follow me on Twitter, you will know that I teased we're going to see some kind of sneak peeks of some of the features that are going to be released in Chef 16. And that brings us to what we're going to be working on in the second portion of this. If you stick around for like 30 minutes, we will be working on going through building out an LCR module that teaches you how to use some of the features that are going to be released in Chef 16. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the fact that Chef 16 represents a huge paying down of a lot of technical debt that we've had in our software for a while. And so it's it's really exciting to as someone inside the company to get to see the roadmap for the future of these products, because there's just a lot of things that community members and customers have kind of bumped up against in the last few years that we are working really hard to make very smooth transitions. So, and Josh kind of gets to lead the brigade on that, which is exciting. I did want to call out one thing I noticed about all the roles that you've played here at Chef is you very similar to like the team that I'm on right now, the developer relations team. You are constantly working with customers and community members to bring the feedback of how they're using chef's products and solutions, and what they want from those products and solutions. In each of your roles, you kind of got to play this liaison and like bring the voice of the customer and the community internal to Chef. So that's a pretty cool pattern in all of the jobs that you've had here. So cool, good job.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Good. Yeah, I think, how many years have you been here now? 4, is that correct?
I think it's 6.5.
Oh my gosh,
I
6.5?
know. There should be
Holy
more. There should
smokes.
be more gray in my beard, I guess. But yeah, old timer.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me, I tweeted that you were joining today. And I was like, "Hey, I can't wait to see Josh's new coiffure, whatever he's rocking today." I think literally every time I have like a video call with you or see you in person, your hairstyle is completely different. Either you've shaved your beard or like somehow you grew it out the night before. I don't know. So it's been a very interesting progression watching your hair through the years.
Got to keep people on their toes. My favorite was walking into the office after like probably the biggest beard and hair that I've ever had, and I had just like buzzed my hair all off and shaved the beard, and was walking up to our at the time our director of HR, and you could see her have like the oh crap moment in her head of like this person is walking toward me.
Like,
He's made
who
eye
is
contact with
this?
me. He clearly knows who I am. It is kind of my job to know who he is. And like scrolling through that Rolodex, and then I opened my mouth to speak, and she was like, "Oh my God, I cannot believe you! Look, you scared me so much." So it's not just you, and it has caused a lot of different reactions over the years. So
Yeah, I think I recall when you shaved it all off, because it definitely was after a time of like growing all like long hair, long beard, long everything. And then you walked into the office and I was like, oh, oh, that's crazy. I think people have that kind of reaction from like seeing me now from when I was in college. I was drastically different looking in college than now. So, um, all right, let's dive in to troubleshooting this wonderful Terraform package. But first, let me figure out how to share my screen without um, sharing too much. When you work for a software company, you gotta be careful what you're sharing, right? Okay, let's move Zoom out of here and I'll bring up the internets. Oh, that's over here. Here we go. Sorry. If you have watched this stream for more than like, I don't know, a couple weeks, you'll realize I talk to myself. It's always good when there's someone else on the Zoom, because then it looks like I'm talking to someone else. But in reality, a lot of times I'm like talking to myself for sure. Okay, so let's bring this up in Zoom finally. I'll share my desktop screen. And hopefully you should see a Terraform Docs page about templates. Oh, a little question to Nick Rykar, who was supposed to join the feed today, but couldn't due to some external emergencies. So we're lucky enough to have Josh O'Brien with us. But also, the work that he's doing is kind of what we were going to go through today. So we're going to pick up where he left off and go through that. But in the meantime, I'm going to move that off screen so you don't have to keep eyeballing it. And so that I can view, let's see, Terraform and, the docs on Terraform and my VS Code screen as well. So here in my terminal window, you'll see I tried to run knife client list, and I'm getting this configuration error in from my credentials file, which is written in this Chef Automate Terraform portion. We write it from a template file resource, and then we include these variables in there. But you'll see when I try to run it, I'm getting a Unicode error. I looked up this specific error code or code, and it is referring to a paragraph separator is what it's called, which to me indicates that I'm probably there's a return value or a carriage value that's not getting written correctly. So I popped into, well, first I started with Google because Google is my best friend. And I Googled some string of words that was magical, like Terraform, Unicode /U2029 error. What the F is happening? Or something like that. And then I got a templates doc from Terraform that kind of goes through, and I was reading through it earlier, and I think I swear I saw something that was talking about this issue that we're having right now. So maybe it was this. I lost my place as I was like clearing everything to start this stream. So we're going to read through this and see if we can figure out what's happening. This, this example on the Terraform docs seems to be calling out an output here that we don't have in our template file resource. So I'm gonna flag that in my brain as something that we might try adding. But let's see, if you specify the template as a literal string instead of loading a file, the inline template must use $signs to prevent Terraform from interpolating values from the configuration into the string. Oh, so it's possible creates its own instance of the interpolation system with values provided by its nested vars block. That seems like words that I don't 100% understand fully, but it does kind of look like, so what we're doing here is provisioning a file. If you specify the template as a literal string instead of loading a file. We are loading the file first, though. I feel like here. Oh, that's actually referring to this portion, I think. Also, I know I ask this every week, but if anybody in the audience is a Terraform expert or knows anything about it, por favor, ayúdame. Please help and give us your knowledge. Or if you know how to fix Unicode errors, that would also be very helpful. Also, I noticed there's a couple more people in the chat. Commander Root, hello again. Oblivioner, I like your name. Is that a reference to Skyrim and or Elder Scrolls? And Tresino, hello, nice to see you all. Okay. I wonder if we just try adding this after all these values rendered data template file example. And maybe remove this provisioner. I'm going to comment it out, and then it does look like it should be outside of that resources block. So we'll go output rendered curly brackets value equal $. Whoa. Do curly bracket again, data dot template file dot credentials dot rendered, and save. Let's see. I wonder if a Terraform apply will just work for me. Oh shoot, I'm in the wrong. I'm in the server. Okta, sign in again. Echo Hack, what up? I like the couch emojis. That is, I don't know why that's so visually appealing, but it really is. I like the red and purple. It's a good combo. Okay. Echo, if you know anything about using template file resources in Terraform, let me know. Let's see if this, if changing that file will cause it to refresh. And nice, nice. Ooh, you can also, I wonder if you would mind lending your knowledge around upgrades to help us kind of build out a task list for what a user would need to do if they're on, like, say, some real old version of Chef Infra, like 12 or 13, and they want to use all the wonderful new bits that are coming out in Chef 16. We want to give them an upgrade path in LCR and learn Chef Rally. So yeah, if you know the steps for that. Okay. Output rendered must use splat syntax because it has count set. Oh, I see. Okay. So here we should add a wild card because here we're accessing the automate user count. Cookstyle is your friend. Cookstyle is your friend, and they have made some crazy serious improvements to Cookstyle over the last year that have not been like super widely publicized, which makes me crazy. The updates now go through and allow you to like check which resources will be deprecated in the next version, or yeah, which of your nodes is using outdated deprecated resources or needs to be updated, needs their cookbooks need to be updated to the next stuff. So cook style is, I agree. Sorry. Okay, so I still am wondering if this will break things, but oh well, we'll try it. And see. And hopefully this will fix it and we can all go home. Just kidding. We can just start on the upgrade process. Mandy, I think you're still out there, and if you are, I think you'll agree with me that as this Terraform is building, it's a good time to bring out the unicorn pug again. Oh, this unicorn pug is going to make an appearance in every single Chef Live episode until it gets adopted. Look at its cute face. It's from England, so it has a cute little British accent. And it's wearing a unicorn outfit. So if you would like this lovely unicorn, speak up in the chat and we'll enter you into a drawing to win it. And the good news is, if you do enter the drawing, you'll be the only person in it. So you'll probably win. That is my, darn it, I forgot to say yes. That is my Unipod pitch for today. All right, back to the code. That seems to have applied, and I think my workstation IP changed. So we're going to log into this guy. I use the password. Make sure that credentials file is there. Let's just look at it. Sanity check, make sure it looks correct. Sure does. Let's try knife client list. It's taking longer than I expected to. Yep. Still getting that configuration file error. I wonder if I need to taint that file in order for it to actually go through and rewrite the credentials file, because I don't actually see it getting written. Yeah. Oh dear. Terraform. What resource? How do I? If only Will was here. Echo Hack, how do I want to taint a resource within this specific Terraform file so that it will go through and rerun this portion to, this whole portion here to render the credentials file again on the workstations. But I cannot remember how to like reference the resource that I want to taint. So let's do, yeah, darn it. When? Oh, because I'm inside the server again. Yeah. Terraform. Well, I hate to Terraform destroy again because that will take up 30 minutes. Look at the rendered JSON. Let's see. Or Terraform show. Terraform show. Would I say show resource or just show? Help. Maybe just show. Okay. Gall darn it. What am I? It should be. Oh, this one. Okay. Null resource chef users. Terraform. Ooh, no, I don't want to write it there. Whee. Don't highlight that. Terraform. That should give you all the actual resources. Ah, I see. Grepping the rendered JSON will just show you all the resources that are created. That's pretty dope. Let's see. Taint chef automate dot null resource dot chef server users malformed resource key index poops. If I'm super smart, then I'll build out common failure stuff in my outputs. Oh, there we go. Okay. Now let's Terraform apply and see if that works. I am also Echo Hack, not always super smart, although these glasses pretty much ensure that I'm super smart some of the time, at least. Just kidding. They're, yeah. Anyway, when you say you build out common failure stuff in your outputs, is that essentially like stopping points in the code so that you can step through it? Or what do you mean by that? Total dice roll between genius and complete idiot. I love it. I think that is how genius works, though, is a dice roll between like either crazy or genius. Oh, shoot. Let's log into that server again and just delete those files. Sudio. Was that like a sudo rodeo? Oh, man. Exit. Okay. Let's try this again. Before I learned how to taint a resource in Terraform, Sean, I love your roll D20. Sorry, I missed that a while ago, but hilarious. Before I learned how to taint a resource, I was just Terraform destroying and Terraform applying every time, which takes up 30 minutes of time each time you do it. So not super scalable. So it was a blessing when I learned that. Let's make the, no. Oh, shoot. Oh, it's outputting that in the Terraform poo. So that is not what I wanted at all. Okay. And it didn't even write the files. Why did I do that and not this? Whee. No, just that. Thank you. Okay. Save. Oh, yeah. Okay. Exit. Let us do that again. And we'll apply and see if it writes it again. Who wants to adopt me? Please, please, sir, I want someone to adopt me into a lovely home. Ugh, darn it. I forgot to delete again. Why? What the heck? Up here, it says it has a conflict because, ugh. So this is just trying to create it on the chef server, and that's why it's throwing a conflict. I don't think it's actually even tried to rewrite that file. Hey, Will. How's it going? Well, I'm gonna do what nobody on this stream wants me to do, and what I don't really even want to do, and I'm just gonna destroy this. Shh, don't be upset. Because tainting that resource didn't get it to rewrite, and because it needs to iterate through and create new users. Oh, so instead of destroying, I can just add new users. In my variables here, we'll change automate users to 2 and workstation count to 2. Save and Terraform apply. I think this is still going to get that Unicode error though. So while that's spinning up, I'm going to create a new directory. No, I want to. Is there not a way to create a new directory in code? I'll just go. Oh, Echo Hack, are you which passwords are you referring to? The workstation passwords? Or the automate admin passwords? Oh, the ones that I'm showing right on my screen right now, probably. Then you said you have something to randomize it. Oh, nice. Cool. That's what I was just going to ask, is if you can output it at the end of the run. Cool. That would be. The nice thing about this is that it's the same every time. And so when I'm presenting a workshop, I can just, I will always remember that password. I'll never forget it. But would definitely be safer to have randomized passwords. So maybe that's also something I should bring up with the rest of the LCR team and implement in the rest of our courses too. Because I think we have a bunch of AMIs in AWS that also use similar passwords. So, oh boy. Yeah, what was I doing? creating a new repo. Oh, nice. Past me is not greater than current me. This just goes back to some days you're a genius, some days you're not. Most days I am not a genius, so you're in good company. What do I want to call this new module? Upgrading chef. Okay. Ah, darn it. It doesn't just snap to the side like I want it to. Okie dokie. We're going to start with a task list. First, cook style. Run cook style against. Now, hello Figgins. Or P. Higgins. Sorry. I assumed it was Figgins, but it might be P. Higgins. It's nice to see you. Okay. Echo, you were saying run cook style first. First things first, when upgrading, we should run cook style. In order to do that, am I going to run cook style against each individual cookbook that I'm managing? Or is there I think P. Higgins or Figgins, you meant to say Figgins is fine. Ha ha ha. Sorry, that's my dad joke for today. That's one dad joke for today. Yes, Echo Hack. Ooh, nice. Got it. Okay, so we got a link to a project that David Echo, aka Echo Hack, is working on. And then another one. Here we go. Windows 2016. And this one is a Terraform file that spins up a Windows workstation. Is that correct? Then implement it. Ah, I see. Here we generate a random string. Dope. And you can specify what length you want your password to be. That is very cool. So if you're going through the DevSec profile for InSpec goes through and checks to make sure that your systems are basically like up to par with general standards for security on a web server or whatever. If you are running that against a Windows system, it's going to check and make sure that you have a password with, ooh, I'm flying across the screen now. It's going to check and make sure that you have a password that's length is 16 characters long. So I really like that it's flexible here and you can kind of go in and just modify that. And then this one is going through and implementing it here at the set administrator password portion. Cool. I will implement that. Yeah, I'll work on adding that in once I get this credentials file to write appropriately. Let's go back and see where Terraform is. Command. Okay, let's log into this second server, SSH chef at, yes. .chef. I think it's gonna fail still because I don't think I changed anything. Yeah, crap. Okay, I have to dig into the Unicode stuff a lot more, but I don't want to waste Josh's time. on here. And so I'm going to jump back to the updating stuff so that we can make valuable use of the people that we have here. So where was I? Open the upgrading chef directory. Here we go. Man, I have a lot of code windows open. Okay. So I was going to ask, whoops, that's not what I want to do. I was going to ask Echo, you were saying cook style is where you would start. And I was going to ask if you're running cook style against a whole chef repo or if you're just running it against an individual cookbook or yeah.
I don't think that it supports multiple cookbooks right now. I think
Okay.
that it's got to be one by one.
One by one.
Let me back channel to Tim and see if that is accurate. But
Yeah. And Echo is saying, sorry, David. I'm David is saying typically start with the most critical stuff. Oh, and I'm sorry, he's not in the Zoom, so I didn't give him a proper introduction. But Echo Hack there in the chat is an awesome engineer here at Chef who has also been working for a really long time with the community and customers to help implement Chef in their organizations to help kind of hack on features and feature sets that customers really need in their environments. So he's a pretty awesome font of knowledge. And yeah, he is also an awesome DDR and Diablo streamer. So you should check him out sometime. Anyway, so his advice is we should start with the most critical cookbooks that we're working with first. So I would say those are probably like anything that goes into your like base image or base profile is probably going to be your critical ones, like stuff that manage agents and uh, security, security stuff, all that kind of stuff that goes into that base profile is probably where you're going to want to start. So you'll run cook style against, well, actually, let's start with prioritizing your, oh my gosh, words are hard when the internet is watching you. I'll just say that. So you're going to prioritize your critical cookbooks. Well, I think base is a good enough description. Base wrappers, etc. Run cook style against higher critical cookbooks. Okay. I get to cheat today because I work at Chef. And I know a lot of the people who are working on a lot of things. So I get to cheat. And like I said, there's some sneak peeks in here. So one of the sneak peeks that you get is this blog that my coworker Nick Rykar has put together. It's a series of blogs that's going to be released. I believe the first one is released today, and it walks you through the process of upgrading. And so I am going to cheat and use his blog to help me walk through this too, as well as everybody's advice in the chat. So, so stay tuned for that. Yeah. Where to go? Sorry. I have too many windows open, I tell you. Okay, so we're kind of not super concerned right now with why upgrade. That hopefully actually, now that I said we're not concerned with it, I I actually am going to go directly back on my word and say we are pretty concerned with it. Or you should be pretty concerned with it, because there are a lot of cool things that are coming out in Chef 16 that will make things um, easier for you to manage. I did not say leave the meeting. I don't know why. Sorry. Anyway, Josh, I would love if you could walk us through some of the features that you're allowed to talk about, and maybe give us kind of, um, if even if you would like to share your screen, that would even be totally possible. I can stop sharing, but if you could give us maybe a like 10,000-foot view, just like the elevator pitch of what is coming out in Chef 16 that makes it very, very valuable and actually like somewhat critical to upgrade from previous versions.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
So the first reason to upgrade always is like CVEs, security fixes, bug fixes, things like that, right? So running anything that's not currently supported obviously leaves you open to attack if those vulnerabilities haven't been patched because the support has ended for those things. Um, some folks that I think will be really happy with the newest release. Windows, anyone that's using like a Windows laptop or desktop to develop against Chef is going to experience like blistering fast knife commands compared to what has historically been the case. Knife is running like 450% faster on Windows.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is pretty dope. So
That is.
yeah, yeah,
I
that's
wanna Sorry, I wanna interrupt you there and say, like, that Windows knife thing is huge. We have, like, one of the things that my team does is, trainings, foundation trainings and stuff, teaching people how to use Chef, all that good stuff, and, we typically use a Windows workstation, and sometimes the knife commands can take, like, 5 minutes in our training environment, from Windows. So that is huge and amazing. And I am excited for it as like an internal person, not even necessarily using it out in the wild. So cool. Thank you for letting me interrupt. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, absolutely, no problem. So yeah, so we're really excited about that. We think like that's been feedback forever. Like developing developing against Chef on Windows is terrible. Please help. Um, and we helped. And Tim Smith, mind behind Cookstyle, also did a lot of that work to get Knife up to speed. The the use case for beginners with Chef has historically been really tough, right? Like we developed initially for a community that was pioneering DevOps, and so there were a lot of people that were driving the space and came in and didn't need bite-sized chunks. They could take the whole elephant in one gulp.
Yeah.
Um, but it turns out that most people don't want to eat the whole elephant at the same time. And there's a lot of complexity to Chef. It makes it really powerful, but it also makes it pretty difficult to learn for a lot of folks. So one of the things that we're really excited about is the ability to author really, really simple recipes using YAML. So that takes a lot of the complexity of writing Chef out of the equation and allows people to write really simple top to bottom recipes. Those things won't use attributes, logic. There won't be data bags, things like that in there, but it does provide a way for somebody to come in and immediately see Chef working without having to learn everything there is to know about the internals of Chef and everything that's going on in the back end there.
I think we have an network. Is anyone else seeing a network error, or is it just me? Oh, it's just me. Okay, sorry. Carry on.
Cool, cool.
Sorry.
No, no worries at all. The other thing that we've historically seen is once people get out of the DSL and start having to extend Chef, um, there's a wonderful little page of like just enough Ruby for Chef, and that holds true up until somebody is extending beyond the DSL. Once somebody is extending beyond the DSL, then that just enough Ruby for Chef is not nearly enough Ruby for Chef anymore, because what we've done is cracked it open and now it's Ruby. So one of the things that Lamont Granquist has done a lot of work on is a feature called Unified Mode. It's actually available in 15, but we've done a ton of work to bring it into the vast majority of our core resources for Chef 16. And that takes the compile and converge phases of a Chef client run and merges them into a single phase. So
Nice.
it's much more predictable how Ruby code is going to run. And what historically has happened is someone's gone off, written their custom resource, and they get into lazy mode hell or something of that nature. And troubleshooting that is really going and finding somebody that's got a decade's worth plus of Ruby experience. So we wanted to get away from that. We wanted to give people an ability to say, hey, I want to write something custom because Chef's DSL doesn't do it, but I want to write it in a way that's simple and still easy to troubleshoot if things go wrong.
Yeah.
Those are kind of the two big things that we're focusing a lot on Chef 16 with. And then there are some really fun things around like package size, stuff like that. So the package is about 25% smaller on disk, but it includes more plugins and more resources. So in Doctor Who fashion, it is in fact bigger on the inside.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Speaking of Doctor Who, mixed with Chef software, I am not sure if everybody out there is on the Twitter sphere at all, but our coworker Trevor Hess, who is he's super gregarious. He's just very outgoing and enjoys he and I share a love of performing together. He for I think it's every Wednesday, Trevor dresses in costume and then has his virtual background match the costume that he's wearing. And so he had a Doctor Who, I think he did the 11th Doctor. He had the inside of the 11th Doctor's phone box. And then he had like a bow tie and the whole like get up and everything. What else did he do? He was one of the Beatles. He had like a picture of two of the Beatles in the background, and then he literally stood with a guitar holding it like this for like an hour long call and just like stood. It was amazing. So yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Sorry
This
for that
week,
tangent, but
no,
Doctor Who
this
and
week
Chef.
he was a Fallout. So
Oh,
he was in a mask all day long.
yes.
His commitment to
Vault Boy.
the cosplay is outstanding.
Yeah, it's amazing. So did he have like Vault Boys like was
He
it
didn't
like
have Vault Boys. He had I'm trying to remember which was. But he did have he had the Pip-Boy app on his old
yes.
phone on his wrist. It was great. So yeah, it was really solid.
That's awesome. Um yeah, he has a lot of awesome creative ideas. One year, for our like all hands company meeting, Since we're a remote distributed company, once a year we bring everybody to headquarters in Seattle. I think I talked about this last week, but we bring everybody to headquarters in Seattle for like a week long in-person meeting. And one year, Trevor and I were the MCs for the week, and we subjected the entire company to a karaoke, like a rewritten rendition of a song from the musical Wicked. Um, yeah, I think that was the day I solidified, like, people at the company were, like, maybe on the fence whether they liked me or hated me, and that was the day it really solidified which side of the fence they were on. So, yeah. Woohoo! Hey, we're this is super exciting and worthy of a free giveaway. We just hit top 20 in the science and tech category here on Twitch, which is a really big goal of mine, especially because this is like part of my job. And so the success of this channel is the success of my job. So I'm going to give a, a warm welcome home to the Unipug, to the next, I'm going to say, I'm going to pick a random number and send it to Josh in Slack. And then whoever sends a message in chat and that number gets the Unipug. There, I have now decided how it will be. So let me send the number to Josh, and then yeah, y'all should get chatting. I won't make it a very high number. Just kidding. All right. Just typing numbers doesn't count, and Garth can't win. People named Garth are not, no, just kidding. That's very exclusive. Okay, there we go. Code Blue. I like your name. Zoltar 5. I was gonna ask, oh, Zoltar Z5. I was gonna ask, do you grant wishes or do you tell fortunes or anything like that? Can we get a free fortune telling? Anywho, okay, so what's the range on fortune telling or on numbers? It's between 1 and 20. I'll tell you that much. Anywho, okay. So, oh no, I'm not saying you have to guess a number. I'm saying you have to be that number of person to put a chat in the chat room. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ooh, we're getting close. I'm giving it away so easily these days. That sounded so much wronger than I meant it to. I'm giving this Unipug away. Anyway, okay, so back to the blog and Mandy. I love it. Let's see, upgrading. So, ooh, I like this. First of all, Nick talks a lot more, well, not a lot more. Josh, you talked very much in depth about the reasons why upgrading is good. Nick puts it in written form, so you can read that when the blog comes out. But I like how he calls out here something that I think a lot of people get confused on just because of maybe the product names a little bit. So there are two packages that people typically refer to as like a chef package. One of them, the most commonly referred to chef package, is going to be the Chef Infra Client. That is the thing that's installed on your server or on your node, that will go through and actually do the things, that will actually run Chef and all that stuff. The other is called the Chef Infra Server package. And that is less commonly used just because usually you are deploying nodes more frequently than you are deploying Chef servers. And so when we say Chef 16, what we're actually referring to is the Chef Infra Client 16 package, or the version 16. So the thing that Nick calls out here that's also even more important on top of that here is we can actually go through and upgrade our cookbooks and our clients. And so we have to go through and actually update both our cookbooks and our clients. So there's a little bit of work on the client side as well to sort of prepare for that. As if you can read this, Nick says the blog post is going to cover both of those methods, both of those sort of tasks on your list. So like, don't be panicked to try and take notes on what we're doing here. Nick has already collected all these notes for you, and you'll be able to read through them in the blog post. So the other thing to note, the difference between those two packages that I mentioned, the Chef Infra Client and the Chef Infra Server packages, is that they have different version numbers. So right now we're on version 15. No, we're on, yes, 15.9 dot something.
Yes.
I cannot remember the minor,
patch
the
version
minor
on
or the
it.
patch versions, but
Yeah.
we're on version 15 generally, the major version of Chef Infra Client right now, and I believe we're on oh gosh, I think it's something like 6 or 7
Cook style.
for Chef Infra Server.
Server is 13.2.
Oh,
latest.
that's actually quite a lot closer than I thought it was. Okay, so yeah, we see here 13.2 and the infra client is 15.9.7. And it is worth it to note that if you download Chef Workstation, that's going to pull 15.9.17 of the Chef Infra client too. So they are slightly different versions. So just be sure and look out for that as you're upgrading. Okay, so here we're talking about some practices, best practices like using Test Kitchen and making sure that you test all of your changes before actually deploying them. And then we get into upgrading the cookbooks. And just like Echo Hack said, Nick's first recommendation here is using cook style. So we're going to walk through these steps together. I'm going to build out my task list, and then we can walk through building out a Learn Chef Rally module that actually goes through and does this. Last week, I was working on a Vagrant file that spun up Chef Server within the Chef Automate service and created a user so that our Learn Chef users can go through and do modules that work with like knife configurations and all that kind of good stuff. And so I think that Vagrant file might come in handy as we're going through this as well. But I have two goals here. My first goal is to build out the steps for the module, and the second goal is to build out any technical, any environment artifacts that I need in order for users to be able to go through this and learn Chef Rally. So I'm gonna, like, if you bear with me, I'm gonna be taking notes on both the sort of like verbal steps as well as the actual commands that you're going to be running. So this, we're going to point cook style at whatever cookbook we are working with. Cookbook name. That's how you test your cookbooks using cook style. It's not super complicated, right? Like all you're doing is pointing this tool at your cookbooks, and the output of the tools, or the tool is going to go through and verify whether there are any resources or whether there are any resources that are deprecated within your systems.
Slight caveat.
Yes, go.
You need the path for the cookbook. So I back-channeled a little bit with Tim, and he was like, "You can totally point it at a monorepo. It is not cookbook aware; it is Ruby aware. So as long as you've got that cookbook path, it'll do that cookbook one at a time. And it sounds like it'll go searching through all of your recipes down that path if you pointed at a monorepo as well.
Cool. Walking through the tips that Nick calls out here too, he says that cook style does get a little bit verbose. Oh, I see. So this is actually from within the cookbook path. Sorry. So we'll just say yeah, you're gonna run I guess that should go there. And we'll put home. Okay, so you're gonna type cook style and then space dot, and that is going to go through and check to make sure to see if there are any cookbooks in that directory and run through and verify all the things in those cookbooks. Nick points out that in order to avoid the wordiness on your first run, you can use the command format -- format offenses, and what that will do is just bring up any code in your cookbooks that's actually violating the upgrade steps, or any cookbooks that will not be that are using deprecated resources or anything like that. So cook style will go through and only bring up your offenses instead of just bringing up all the successes and failures. So let's see. Only tools. Ooh, this is pretty cool, and a new feature in Cook Style, or a recently launched feature in Cook Style. Previously, with Cook Style, if you ran it against your cookbooks, it would just check and verify the latest version of Chef. And so like if you were on Chef 12, Chef Infra 12, and you ran cook style, it would go through and say, here's all the things that are deprecated from 12 to 16. And it wouldn't check incrementally. It would just say, here's 16. And so it left kind of a little bit of a gap there in terms of the knowledge that people needed in order to be able to upgrade from 12 incrementally to 16. And so this, oops, I did not mean to change that. This this flag that you can run in YAML allows you to target a specific version of Chef. So if we're on Chef 12, for instance, and we want to see what we're going to need to upgrade in order to get to 13, we can go through and say, and now I need to verify with Nick whether you would state the version that you're using with that cookbook, or whether you would state the next version that you're trying to increment to. So are you saying, hey, I'm using Chef 12, I want to go to Chef 13, or is this saying check it for Chef 12? I wonder. But we're going to take a note of that as well. Target Chef version.
So it looks like it's testing against specific versions. Here's the, I won't do it justice if I try to say things because multitasking is not my strong suit, but I will Slack it to you.
Okay.
And then you can pull it up and everyone can see so that it can be more articulate than my mouth will be.
Why? Darn it. Okay.
Yeah, so it looks like that's so that you can say which version you're on now so that it doesn't start throwing a bunch of things that are not pertinent to the version that you're on as deprecation warnings.
Okay, cool. Let me pull this out a little bit so you can see it better. Testing against specific chef versions. Many of the cops included in cook style. I just like that they're called cops. Is that a like an acronym for something technical, or is it just because they're enforcing rules?
It's just because of RuboCop. So it's just using the same language that RuboCop uses as the parent project.
Right, but does RuboCop call it COP because is that an acronym or not? Anyway, totally unimportant in the grand scheme of things. Many of the COPs included will autocorrect Chef Infra cookbook code in ways that will require fairly recent releases. Oh, yeah. That's the other thing that I always forget about cook style is now it can go through and correct issues, right? Or was that something it could always do?
I was looking up why cops are called cops. Can you repeat that?
Oh.
And I can try to answer.
I'm sorry. I keep
No, I feel like this is like your podcast, and I'm just like in the background, mostly trying to find the answers for you, right?
let me find the answer. That's not how it's supposed to be. You're the star just as much. Now I don't even remember what I asked.
Something about issues. I heard issues.
Cook style will go through and remediate deprecations if you tell it to, correct?
You can tell it to autocorrect. The other thing that's really cool that the sous chefs did, and I don't know where it is, but they wrote a little bot that will go open up pull requests against all of the offenses that are found by cook style, so that like it doesn't have to autocorrect. It will also just open a bunch of PRs that people can go review and then say like, that looks great.
That is cool.
Yeah, our community is kind of dope.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate to make sure I understand correctly. So cook style will go through and be like, hey, here's all these deprecations in your cookbooks. Then you can also have it go through and do that and then fix everything. Here's all these deprecations. I tried to put them the way they should be. On top of that, you can have it go through and check. And instead of fixing everything, have it create a PR with all of the things that need fixing in case you are following good DevOps like collaborative practices.
Right. And I don't know if it's native to Cookstyle yet, or if it's just a bot that that's out there somewhere. I suspect that
So
that Tim will work with
a
the
cop.
sous chefs folks to get that,
Oh
because
yeah.
that's a killer. I mean, that's just such a killer feature.
Yeah, no, that is so awesome. And that reminds me, you're mentioning the sous chefs a couple of times. If you're watching and you're not familiar with who the sous chefs are, they're a group of community members, essentially people who love the product so much that they are interested in helping maintain and create help with new features and stuff like that. The sous chefs are like their uh, their like importance for our company is really really understated in my opinion. Um, but they're like a huge part of our success, and a huge part of like why, yeah, why we are where we are, why our product is where it is. And yeah, anyway, so you're talking about the sous chefs reminded me that we're trying to get them the opportunity to stream here on the Chef Software Twitch channel. So you'll get to see the awesome features that they're working on. You'll get to watch, hopefully, maybe even get to watch them like developing the features, coding, and working on those features. Um, but at the very least, you'll get awesome insight into what they're working on, all the awesome things that they've done, and what you should look forward to seeing them working on. And Wake Up Godfrey, thank you very much for popping that in there. In the chat, there is a link to the sous chefs organization, and it's talks about the bot that uh, Josh was just talking about. And that we were both just talking about, that goes through and actually fixes things. So check out that blog if you want to get more information on the, like, I don't know. Yeah, the first of all, the awesome sous chefs, but also this awesome bot that goes through and helps make upgrading so much easier. Um, okay, so we talked about the target version. That's pretty awesome. And it looks like um, Josh, also, I always want to call you Job.
You
So
totally can, because there's like 9 Joshes at Chef, and
there really
so
are.
yeah, I was like, I feel like I had rights to Josh for a while there, and then like once Josh Crossman came in, it was a wash. So now
Yeah.
there's Joshua, and Joshua is Joshua Timmerman, and then Josh, and Josh is Josh Crossman, and everyone else, you got to use our full names now, or our Slack handles, right? So
Yeah. So Josh O'Brien's Slack handle is JOB. And I actually really did think your name was Job for for like the first couple months that I worked at Chef. Um I am not gonna lie, I did not 100% understand how Slack handles worked at the time. I mean, I understood how they worked, but like I would be like, no, his name's Job. Or like unless it was clearly not a person's name, I assumed it was their actual name. Mandy also just pointed out a super helpful link if you would like to join in the conversation with the sous chefs, or just kind of be a fly on the wall and watch how they work together, watch how they interact, and see all the cool stuff that they're working on. They are in our community Slack channel. So if you go to community-slack.chef.io, they're in the hashtag sous chefs channel. And they're like, seriously, these people are these people are geniuses. Like I don't, yeah. And they're like I said, an incredibly huge factor in our success as a solution, as a team, as an organization. Yeah, so, and I don't think they get enough praise. So that's why I've been waxing poetic on that topic. Anyway, also, I believe we have surpassed the number of chat comments that I sent to Josh, which he can verify. I said after Chef Software said, "Woot, we have hit top 20." Um, I said the 11th person to chat at us would get this sweet little Unipug who just needs a home, you guys. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Zoltar Z5, you win the Unipug, which is fitting because you did say all hail the Unipug. So if let's see, what is the best way to, if you would like to send your like work address or your PO box or something like that, wherever you're comfortable receiving things. Serendipity is a pretty good word too. I might start incorporating that in my vocabulary. Anyway, if you will email our let's see, do we have a community email address yet? Benny, can you, or Mandy, or someone from my team, do we have an email address? I can share mine. I'm totally happy doing that too. Okay, whatever. I'm just going to share mine. Email me, Jody at chef.io, with an address, and we'll send this Unipug to you. I'm so happy that he has a home now. Also, I did gender it. You can totally, it is non-gendered, so it's non, yeah. You can give it a good home, or them. Oh yes, community at chef.io. Thank you. Community at chef.io is actually, I'm glad we get to share that kind of naturally here in the chat, because community at chef.io is a new alias that we added when, well, actually, no, it might not be. Mandy can call me a liar if I am, but I'm pretty sure it was a new alias that we added when we hired Benny Vasquez as our community manager. She is an awesome chef friend as well. Very helpful, just really like an awesome listener, and someone who just wants to sort of help and listen. And oh, it isn't a new email. I am a liar. But use that, either Jody at chef.io or community at chef.io. Send us your infos and we'll send you the Unipug. Congratulations. I'm happy that this Unipug has received a home finally. Anyway, so we have the Target Chef version here. Yes, Mandy, Benny is dope AF. And we are also terrible with email addresses. I think we have for some reason gone through and created an email address for every employee at Chef that is like every combination of their first and last name possible, plus every combination of any domain that Chef has ever owned. So if you email like Jody W at, or Jody.wolfborn or whatever at ops code or get chef or any of those, it'll all go to me. Yes, we are very terrible with email addresses. All right, where's my blog? Let's bring that back up. Okay, so we talked about the chef version that we can target. Let's see. We are learning about the -A flag here, and that is going to actually remediate. Is that correct? Is -A the remediation? Let's see.
It is. That is the yeah. That's the autocorrect.
Oh, okay. I was just going to ask what A stands for, because I would think that would be like dash all or something like that. But autocorrect also makes sense. So dash A is going to go through an autocorrect. And I will record that as well. Cook style dot, whoops, dash A, right? Yes. Wow, gosh. Is anybody else like a little bit obsessive compulsive when they're typing? I am unable to not go back and reformat something if it looks wrong or if I type out something, I cannot move on from there. Um, I don't have the ability. So yeah, you guys get to watch my OC manifest live on Twitch. Uh, this is going to -A auto corrects any offenses. Cool. Okay. Format. Ooh, that's a little cool note. You guys, okay. I'm kind of cheating because I'm reading through his blog before it's released, but like once once this blog does get released, and you're all able to read it, it's got a lot of really cool information in it. Um, and if you have not met Nick Rykar or seen him on this stream, he is, I feel like this is just Jody talking for 2 hours about how awesome her coworkers are and how awesome sous chefs are, but, like, seriously, Nick Rykar is, oh my gosh, like, that brain is, like, crazy intelligent. He is, I I don't think I've ever asked him a question that he, like, didn't know the answer to almost straight off the top of his head, and if he didn't know the answer, he would be like, "Oh, you know what? I do know so and so was talking about exactly what you're," like, he's one of those people, he's my personal Google is what he is. So yeah, thank you, Nick, for being my personal Google. So now you guys all, or you all get to tap into Nick's crazy awesome brain as well once this blog is released. So lucky all of us. Anyway, I'm trying to like go through and not pick apart every tip that he gives in here because they are super useful, but also um, I want to get a module that's very that has kind of the bare minimum of what people need in order to be able to work through this. And so I called out the target version portion just because or target chef version because I think that's important, but I don't think we necessarily need to go through the different Git check-ins and all that kind of stuff. Which is why you should definitely read the blog when it is released. And obviously that is going to be at blogs. All of our, where did I just type that? Uh-oh. I hope not in here. Yeah, okay, good. I don't want to like undo all of his work. Blogs.chef.io. Super straightforward. Easy to remember and also is wrong apparently. Because I just went there and it's not loading. So, JK, it's chef.io/blogs. Still easy to remember. Anyway, okay, so that is kind of amazing. I think those are the steps required to upgrade your cookbooks between different levels, which like Josh was talking about all of the work that the product and engineering teams have been doing to pay down technical debt and make things a lot easier for users. And I really, really, looking at this task list, think this is a great testament to the work that you all have been doing. There are two steps in this, basically, like run cook style to find out what's offending, and then run cook style again to fix the offenses. Um, that's cool. I love that. And so, yeah, that is really, really awesome. So then I think what's next is we need I'm going to change this to say cookbooks. And then I'm going to add a second portion that's going to teach you how to upgrade the client once your cookbooks have all been upgraded. For anyone, Josh and anyone else that's kind of lurking out there in Twitch land, I don't know the answer to this, but as you're going through and updating your cookbooks, and actually that's maybe what Nick was talking about in the skit section, but as you're going through and updating your cookbooks, that's going to cause version issues with the client unless you wait, or unless you don't update the version of the cookbook that your nodes are using, right?
Yeah, you definitely, you want to make sure that as you correct all of those cook style offenses, that you're also only trying to run that against the chef version that you're trying to get things up to date with. You don't want to fix something that was a deprecation, but is only works on current stuff, and then have it shatter your existing world. So like version your cookbooks and pin and do things that are best practices so that you don't break everything.
The first step here should be, like, after you've prioritized what you're going to do, you should pin cookbook versions in those, or pin versions in those cookbooks. No, what am I trying to say? On your nodes, your run list. Oh my gosh, pin run lists to current working cookbooks. Okay. Then run through these steps. Then the second portion is going to be updating your client and then changing those version pins in your run lists.
Right? Yeah, you want to probably in a full thing, you'll go like download latest. You'll go set up Test Kitchen to yank down latest client so that you can test against it, and then once we're comfortable with that, then we would start moving forward with deploying it out and start updating the client on all of the machines, and having it pick up the corrected versions of those cookbooks.
Test new cookbooks with kitchen and the current client version, or
whatever client version you're moving to.
Oh yeah, and
but yeah,
target client version. Then should allow you to upgrade its client. Oh, interesting. Oh, never mind. I thought I only like half read what this was saying, and I thought Nick was saying that once you update the cookbook to work with a certain version, that just running that cookbook will update the chef client version. And I was like, what? No, he's saying you have to run a specific cookbook.
We could put it in there, but people would be really mad at us.
Yeah, right? Like, you just update your cookbook and run it, and oh, no. Oh my gosh, yeah. I
Yeah.
can just
The,
imagine the alarms going off.
the people that that meet the assumption that is made in building that feature will be thrilled with the feature. Everyone else will be really upset about the bugs. So
Yes. Okay. There is a chef client updater cookbook. We're gonna grab that link real quick. Okay. See? Too many spaces. No, I can't let it be. That was hard in English courses. I love writing. Like I love it. But on days when they were like, okay, now we're just gonna do whatever, like where you just write down whatever pops into your mind. I was like, no, 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 no. I'm sorry. We're having complete sentences. We're not going to have any typos. We're going to have proper punctuation. My brain doesn't work that way.
is there a difference when you're text messaging, or is it always on? Same here. I'm like
Always.
punctuation. People are like, hey, when you end a sentence with a period in a text, it sounds like you're angry.
It sounds angry. Yeah.
Yeah, I know,
Um,
but I
the
can't
good
not.
the good news is I don't use periods in sentences. I almost entirely use exclamation marks. So yeah.
Easy fix.
I have a
Easy fix. Be
problem.
more excited, Josh.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if there's one exclamation mark, we're like, okay. If there's three, you're good. Just kidding. There's no way to rate the number, the scale. It's always random. Um, okay. Cool. Oh, okay. So, basically, this paragraph is like consider how you're running Chef Infra Client, and whether updating it will break that or not. Making sure it's done safely. Ooh, he even has a little list of considerations from the docs that walk you through it. But I just realized that's the end of the blog. And really, there are 3 steps in this process. The whole thing, like, well, 4. Okay. Like, make sure you're running sane, right? Pin your cookbooks or pin your run lists with specific cookbook versions. Run these 2 cook style commands. Test it against the target client version. If it breaks, like fix the little breaks, and then just run this cookbook on your nodes, add it to your run list for one run, and it'll upgrade your Chef Infra client. So I'll say good job, Josh and team, for like taking the words make it easier really, really to heart and making it a lot easier. This is amazing.
Yeah, I was fortunate to be given the product role over a team that was already working very, very strongly
Oh,
toward
yes.
this. So I will also say, like, I defer all of the credit to the engineers that made it a reality. It's been really fun to be working with them on this stuff.
Yeah, this is really awesome. I might even maybe be able to get some YAML stuff started too. Let's see. Before we go, Nick Rycar, let me look at my messages from you. Um, okay, never mind. I do not see that. Oh,
I did play with it a little bit while you were terraforming earlier.
oh, nice.
I just hello worlded. I just threw a file resource in with a hello world and then tested it with Kitchen, and it worked. So
Dope.
um, short of doing anything on something that looks like a real machine that we would deploy against, we could at least get toward something toward doing it locally in testing.
Yeah. Um, that feels, yeah. So the YAML module is probably going to be a lot easier to create because it'll essentially be like taking um like an intro to chef module that already exists that's using recipes, Ruby recipes, and just converting, like saying, here's how you would do the exact same thing, but with YAML. Um, I'm wondering, yeah, maybe this is a conversation to have, like a work conversation versus a stream conversation to have. But I am curious um, if it would be valuable to teach them both methods, to teach both methods side by side, or each individual method gets its own module to go through. But yeah, like that's totally a offline conversation to have. Cool. Well, let's see. Let's see what I need. I need um, a cookbook, an outdated cookbook, in order to actually go through and test um, these commands. So I'm gonna head to the supermarket, and I think if we just, why are you? There we go. I think if we just take like a if we take a cookbook that we use in other modules, like one of our intro use case cookbooks, like the Apache cookbook or something like that, and we just use a really old version of it, um, that should be an okay test, it feels like. So let's do that. Actually, let's use HA proxy because that is one that we actually use in our tutorials. Man, what's going on with supermarket? It's like real slow for me. Okie dokie. Speaking of sous chefs, we weren't in this moment speaking of them, but we were earlier. This HA proxy cookbook is also is maintained by the sous chefs, which means it's going to work. It's going to have notes on how it works. It's going to kind of walk you through that, and it's going to be a pretty awesome in-depth cookbook. Let's see. So it might actually be the wrong cookbook to choose because the number of deprecations between different versions might be low, just because it's maintained by people so close to the source. Let's see though. Wait a minute, go back. I want an older version. Let's do, I think we use 3.0.0 in the course. Why is it taking so long? Yeah, Chef 12. Cool. Let's download it. Does that download the version? I just don't know. All right, let's see here. Terminal, new terminal. Oh, I do have to, can't trust the food critic rating either. Ha! Oh man, critics these days. Sorry. Okay, I'm going to, where did that file just get downloaded to? Ooh, it is still working on it. Lovely. And based on how slowly it is going, I'm just going to do this.
It may be that
Shit.
Mac is angry that it's a tar.gz. It like when I went to download it, it was like, this is sometimes dangerous.
Oh,
And it may be in your downloads queue in your browser, waiting for you to say, yeah, I still want to download it.
good gravy. Okay. Where is my downloads? How do I open that? Just from window. Oh my God, there it is.
Yeah, it looks like Command Option L is the keyboard shortcut.
Keep anyway. No. Show and folder. Come on. Doodly-doo. Okay. I can never remember. Is that it? XVF? Home downloads. HA proxy. Why did I do that? I just, let's do this. Okay. Now I am in my repo. I should be able to say cook style dot format offenses. Ooh, 6 total offenses. Now, I wonder, Josh or David or like really anyone who is, oh, sorry, Samuel, I've not been paying attention. Oh, talking about my download. Okay, sorry. Okay. I'm curious, like now I know what these deprecations are or these offenses here. I'm wondering like how many people out there are like, oh, I actually care about the layout or the metrics or the lint here. Is that something that people typically would care about, or is this like only someone who's working on Chef would care about these things? Sorry. Anyone who's doing this is working on Chef. I mean, like, only someone who's like building Chef on the back end. Oh, hey Jeff, how's it going? And you said quite a few people care about those deprecations. What is it about those? Like, what is it about the values or the things that are deprecated that they're like that they're worried about upgrading? are these things that are going to affect their system if they upgrade them, or is it just affecting the way that Chef client is run? Next major version. Oh, Will, what do you mean by that? Deprecated things will likely go away. Hey, Jeff, audio doesn't work. You would have to join the Zoom channel that we're broadcasting from.
So the thing that we want to make sure people aren't doing is like, if they've got things that have been deprecated in a cookbook that just disappear suddenly, we don't want them to hit a point where they're like, I didn't care about that thing. And then they land in a place where that has disappeared because it was deprecated, and now we've ended support for it altogether in the tool. So we've removed that functionality from Chef doing things.
I gotcha.
Yeah, and then it goes, someone goes and opens a support ticket and says like, my cookbook stopped working. And everyone's like, did you run cook style? And they're like, yeah. And we're like, did you do what it said? And they're like, absolutely not. And we're like, you should have done it. We wrote that to help you.
Yeah,
So,
you should have listened to us. Interesting. So the people who typically are like, hey, this broke my stuff, are they ones who have written custom resources and gotten like deep in the Ruby of things, and that's why things are breaking? Or some of these are important if you're updating to the newest clients? I see. Interesting. Okay, so that's something
yeah.
that we'll need to kind of dig in as we're building out the modules, so that we're not like willy-nilly teaching people to be cowboys out in their chef repos and stuff. But yeah, um, Jeff and Will and anyone, um, yeah, your insight is super valuable to me as we're building this out, because you're working with people in the actual field who are implementing this. So thank you for joining, and we're like getting kind of close. I have a meeting in about 5 minutes that I have to drop off for. So we're getting close to the time for today. But hopefully, well, next week we're going to continue on some of these Chef 16 features, building out more LCR modules, hacking on different stuff within that. So if you come back next week at 11 a.m. Pacific time here, we will we'll keep this discussion going, and we'll have some more stuff to share with you then. So I just wanted to say that. Join us next week at 11 in case I have to drop in the middle of a sentence or whatever. I won't drop in the middle of a sentence, but in case I got to go real quick. But okay, so Jeff, you said many of the people with failures. Oh, okay. So they're using databases and custom resources and other custom variables. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of times people go and find something like that they saw on the internet somewhere else and just copy paste it, because like we all know that
That is how I do
that's how
things.
people actually write code.
That is how I write code, for
Right.
sure.
And so like they'll yank in a pattern that's like really terrible,
Yeah,
or
it is
they'll
a
pull
bad
something in that
anti-pattern.
full on doesn't work, all kinds of stuff. So
Yeah. Okay, cool. But that is valuable to know. Like if you're using custom resources, this is going to be a little bit more research on your part as to what is actually being updated and whether you're using those. Pure JSON parsing. Oh. Many customers use pure JSON parsing rather than databases. And that becomes less doable in 14 and beyond. Interesting. Okay. I think we should set up a conversation, Jeff, like internally, we should set up a conversation so that we on the training team kind of know what the gotchas are going into upgrading. And we can like point them out at the beginning of the module just so people are aware to look out for those certain things. Um, and yeah, this brings up a very good point um, about a lot of conversations I had when I was on like the sales team working with customers. I'm sure Josh and like Will and Jeff and anyone who has worked with organizations trying to implement newer versions of Chef. There is a lot of like just like Josh described out there where um hey, I need some code that will go through and do this thing that I'm not super familiar with. But hey, Stack Overflow is super familiar with it, or this blog post says if I copy and paste this code into my Terraform file or my chef recipe, it'll do these things. And then you get into a state where you're it's like you have no sort of way of telling um, what is actually going on in your chef runs. Um, anyway, so this is also a best practices conversation. It sounds like, in addition to like a just upgrading in general conversation. But the good news is that both of those super easy commands to upgrade your cookbooks totally work in my testing environment. So this module will be at least pretty easy to put together. And maybe next week, instead of showing you the Visual Studio Code version of it, I'll be showing you the version up in Learn Chef Rally online. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, thank you for joining us, and congratulations to Zoltar, to Alan, it turns out, for this lovely Unipug, winning the Unipug and giving it a home. Thank you for opening your home to this poor creature. Oh, awesome. Jeff just posted, just before I drop off, I got to call out what you just posted in the chat. The steps that we just went through, he took a customer from version 12.2 or 22 of Chef Client to the current version in one day, just using these commands. So like that's huge. That's really huge, especially if they're managing a crap ton of cookbooks and a crap ton of nodes. So yeah, I'm really excited about these features, and I'm excited to get this module out there and up and running with this blog post. So with that, I am going to sign off for this week. Thank you again for joining us. And thanks for all of the awesome, super helpful commentary, um, uh, helping me like understand and work through the different portions of this. I am going to, yeah, we're gonna raid the Raimu8354, who is also streaming some technical stuff. So enjoy. Bye, y'all.